stable of sponsors. Hello and a very warm welcome to Weigh In on what has been a massive week of racing. Of course, from across the ditch, we had the Melbourne Cup Carnival wrapped up on Saturday with some top quality action. And on home shores, we welcomed back Group 1 racing in the form of the 2000 Guineas. And what a day it was coming in from Riccarton. All of that to come on our show here this morning on Weigh In. For now, though, let's introduce in my co-host. And we've had a little bit of a mix-up when it comes to the panel. Awesome to get you on the show, Matt, of course, with Riccarton taking centre stage, a perfect opportunity for you to be able to link in with us.
Yeah, hi Emily, and hi to everyone at home watching. Yes, Michael's let me slide into the seat for this week, and yeah, what a week it's been so far over in the Australian turf around Melbourne, with the Kiwis dominating over there. And I think we kicked Cup Week off on the right note. A little bit of a different Cup Week for us this year with the limited crowds on course, so we did lack that little bit of oomph. But the oomph was certainly there on track, Emily, with Novia taking out the 2000 Guineas for Team Tiakau and Opie. They've been so dominant in the race before. And yeah, it's one of the most explosive wins that I've ever called, coming from a long way off the speed. Looking forward to talking about that along with a host of other races. And yeah, a nice week to look forward to as well, with plenty of features still to come.
Yeah, it was a dramatic edition, wasn't it, of the 2000 Guineas. We're going to get into that now. Here's a little look at a replay of the Group 1 2000 Guineas.
Three wide as Fireglow from I Wish I Win. Field of Gold and a fair bit of traffic. So's Wakari, then Meritable, Dark Destroyer, and Novia's back last in the Guineas. 500 metres left to go. Mananui looking to bring them all of the way home. Leads by 3/4 Mackenzie Ladd. Meritable deep is into the clear. Coming across hills, Field of Gold into the outside. Dark Destroyer and Novia. It's Mananui, a length clear, Meritable descending strongly. I Wish I Win getting through from Novia, deeper out. Meritable going to Mananui. Novia's charging, 120 to go. It's Meritable, but here's Novia. He ran right over the top of them. Novia, absolutely stunning. Novia won the Guineas. Beat home Meritable.
That's why you and David go to the sales.
Yeah, for sure. Beautiful colt when Dave bought him. Paid a bit of money for him, but he's got the looks and the pedigree, and now he's got that really important Group 1 to his name. So, you know, he's a really exciting colt. The future looks very bright.
He came down here a boy, and he's clearly grown up a lot.
Yeah, he was a really immature 2-year-old. He won a 2-year-old race at Wanganui, and we're playing around with him, trying to get him to a stakes race at Tarapa, and unfortunately he was a little bit naughty in the barrier and missed the kick quite badly that day. But we've been working on those manners a lot, and as you say, I think he has, you know, really developed into a racehorse now. I love the way he's just got a bit more focused. You can tell when you're around him that he's more in the zone than he has been. So he knows what his job is now, and isn't he doing a great job of it?
Bit of plaudits to Jason Laking, who rode him at his previous start and probably taught him a bit there too.
Yeah, for sure, and I should have mentioned Jason in my post-race interview there. He's done a wonderful job with all of the horses. Actually, he's been coming up and riding a bit of work for us, and he's had the odd ride here and there, but you know, ultimately when Opie was sort of able to come back, Jason knew what the story was. So a big thank you to him. He gave him a lovely ride in the Water Cree, and yeah, he's always been a great rider. I was in Wangatui when I was growing up, and Jason was apprentice to Hector Anderton, and he's always been a gifted guy. So yeah, can't thank him enough.
Speaking of gifts, that Opie Bossum, he's got a couple, hasn't he? Yeah,
for sure. Opie's had a bit of a slow start to the spring, as we both have probably. Just with you know, his lockdown and you know, battling with his weight a bit. But you know, full credit to Dave. He's moved him out to the farm and got him in the gym and doing plenty of spraying and grabbing plenty of thistles, and he's got the weight off, and he looked great there today. He said he didn't have to lose too much in the bath this morning, and I think he always rides better when he's not wasting too hard.
And on Karen's birthday weekend as well, I understand.
Yeah, we named the last race at Tarapa, trying to win that, but as we do this, I'm not sure whether we're going to win that or not, but this is a wonderful present for them, and they're enjoying a couple of champagnes.
What about Novia? Where do we go now?
He'll go home and have a break, and then he'll be set for the Kraken Million Mile. We'll give him a prep run somewhere, whether it's the Uncle Remus or whether it's another race, I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, I'd just like to give a big thank you to the wonderful team of staff we've got at home as well. Like, they've done a massive job the last 3 or 4 months. We've really been under the pump. And Sam and Lydia that have been down here with him, and Sumit, who's been riding him in all of his work. So it's not just about, you know, Opie, myself and Dave and the horse. It's about the whole team that we've got behind us.
Congratulations, Jamie.
Thank you.
Well, congratulations, Opie, a race that you've basically owned.
Yeah, it's been a very good race to me, and I've ridden some very classy horses that have actually gone on to be Group 1 horses and stallions, so it's good horses go on from this race.
Tell me about the run you got and what you were thinking at the 600.
At the 600, I had a lap full of horse, and I pretty much know where to go. And there's a little bit of carnage in front of me, just on straightening, and to just pull him across the heel was the one that was stopping. And it was an amazing effort. Once he balanced up, I gathered him together, and I knew he was going to get home.
I think you've only ridden this horse a couple of times. First win as a maiden, as a 2-year-old. Were you thinking then that this could be a Guineas type horse?
100%, yeah. He was just a natural 3-year-old when you looked at him, and I've ridden him in a lot of track work and everything like that. He's been a handful, but usually I don't really like those ones, but I've always liked this one.
Nice to have you back in the jockeys ranks, and no better place to be than on top in a Group 1.
Yeah, it's an amazing feeling, and a big thanks to David Ellis. Probably 8 weeks ago, I went out to have a meeting with him, and I told him I was going to retire. So he sat me down. He said, "Come and live with me at the farm, and we'll work properly on your weight." And both of us together probably lost about 9 or 10 kilos, and as well as Karen. So we're all eating meals together and training hard. And I owe it all to him and Karen, and they've been an amazing support of mine.
Yeah, they certainly have, and those colours bulletproof. Jamie Richards, they've done it again.
Yeah, Jamie's a freak of a trainer, and I'm just a pleasure to ride for him.
Awesome result by Noverre, of course, an $800,000 purchase from Waikato Stud, and living right up to his looks, Matt. I haven't had the opportunity to see him in the flesh, but geez, he looks like an incredibly impressive individual. And when you have a look at that race again and you see all the carnage that did unfold, even right at the start when he was detached from the field, it really does make the effort even more remarkable.
Absolutely. He's an amazing looking horse, Emily. I had the opportunity to head out on Thursday and catch up with Sam Lydia and the team and see Noverre in the flesh. And he's a real brute, but at the same time, he's such an athlete. He's got the most precocious walk you've seen on a horse. He barely touches the ground when he moves, and he's got a great attitude to boot. What impressed me the most is with the trouble that he did get into out the back at the 600, Opie's had to move him 3-4 horse widths out. But then in one stride, he's able to balance himself up, which is a real indication of the intelligence that this horse has got and his will to win, to come from so far off the speed after having an interrupted run. Here he is at that point, and about here, one step, he's balanced up. Opie asks him to move, and he was just brilliant in the finish. Remarkably, his grandam, Dazzling Bell, actually ran 4th in the 2000 Guineas, in behind Buzz Lightyear, who was ridden by that man Opie Boston, the second of his 8 Guineas wins as he brought this up. I thought the runs in behind were good as well. Meritable, he sustained the run from about the 700 metres until the 100, where he was gobbled up by Noverre. Field of Gold was very good in behind. May have ended up a spot further back than what they would have anticipated with the blinkers on, shut out of a run on a couple of occasions up the straight. But to his credit, he still kept fighting to the line, and he's got the look about him, Field of Gold, like a late season 3-year-old through the autumn. He's really going to flourish. Mananui was okay after leading them up. He did gallop along at quite a good clip in the early stages of the run, found himself into 4th position, but yeah, they were no match for Noverre, and I look forward to seeing what he's able to do in the coming 12 months' time. It looks as though at this stage, Emily, he's certainly the horse to beat in the Karaka Million 3-year-old.
Yeah, exactly right. Looks that way based off that performance, that's for sure. Speaking of those beaten horses in the Guineas, let's have a little look at what the beaten jockeys had to say.
Yeah, super run. He's the horse who normally goes forward. We kind of balls up the start a little bit, and Andrew Murray said, just see how you want to ride him when you jump out of the gates. And a bit slow, went back. A moderate enough pace. They stacked up a bit before the turn and got a little bit messy. So I thought to see him when the favourite was. So need to get on that 3-way train and try to pocket them in as much as I can, because I knew my horse would probably come up short at a mile. So I got away with it, and then just baby steps the last little bit in the better horse on the day beat him. But I'm very proud of him, and he's a lovely colt going forward.
Unlucky. First part went all right. Ended up getting surrounded by all the horses I didn't want to be around. Looked to sort of start rolling into the race at a time where I didn't really want to be, so I was just trying to cruise, and others pushed the button, and I just got stuck behind a horse that wasn't going anywhere. Should have definitely run second.
Yeah, look, I had a lovely lead. He was quite happy up front. Look, I just think maybe today, the 1600 might be a bit far for him. He's a big, lovely colt. I think 1200, 1400 sort of more his go. And he's probably at the end of his preparation, so whether he tips him out and comes back fresh, we'll see after a week or so.
Oh, look, it was a courageous run by him. Like, he's come a long way. It's only his 4th race they started. It was a bit of a muddling run race. They sort of kept coming back in our face a little bit, and sort of when I peeled out on the corner, thought I was going to sort of go straight on by, and probably just at this stage over a mile, he's probably just looking for a little bit of easing in the ground. But wait till he gets up over 2,000 and further. He could be a really nice derby horse.
Yeah, delighted with him. Probably had to do a little bit of work early to get in, but he got a nice breather and he kept coming to the line. It was a gallant effort by him.
Yeah, great. Got a lovely run throughout the race. Travelled pretty good into the straight. Had enough room to improve. Just when it was time to sort of really knuckle down, felt maybe the track might have just shortened him up in his stride a little bit. He hasn't disgraced himself, but I just felt the harder track might have just touched him up a little bit.
He was pretty disappointing today. I just said to Royden when I hopped off, and he sort of raced like a tired horse today. He was a little bit negative going in the gates and never showed anything in the straight. So I think he might be due a spell, and rightfully so. He's done so well this prep.
Awesome insight into those beaten horses there in the Group 1 2000 Guineas. Well, let's move on to one of the other races on the card from Riccarton, and this one is the Metropolitan Trophy, where Mr. Intelligence was maybe underestimated by the punters, but certainly not by the trainers.
Monderani, Lincoln King, and Southern Ocean will have to be good to win from there as they turn the corner. Riviera Rock and Wannabe in Paris, Bodes well presented down the middle, then D&G and Mr. Intelligence. The leader, Riviera Rock. Mr. Intelligence has surged through to take the lead. Bodes well trying to go with him from Riviera Rock and Wannabe in Paris. It's Mr. Intelligence at the 120, 2.5 or 3 lengths clear on Bodes well, running on Monderani, but it's a big day coming up for the Blatchers. Mr. Intelligence won the Metrop, beat Bodes well.
Those colours are bulletproof today.
They sure are. Hats off to Nicky and Barry. You know, they're a two-person team and they work very hard, and it's good to see them get the results on the big day.
Right, they won with Leroy in the first, of course, but Mr. Intelligence, he's bolted it.
Yeah, he got a good run. He had to be good today with the weight. He's come off a tendon op, and we really earmarked the New Zealand Cup for him and worked our way back. So, you know, he's just starting to hit form at the right time, and my gut tells me 2 mile won't hurt him, but you never know till they run it out.
Well, Jacob Lowry's thoughts there on Mr. Intelligence, and Matt, as we come to you, carrying the top weight certainly adds to the accolades of what this horse was able to do, and from a New Zealand Cup perspective, that's exactly what you want to see, isn't it?
Yeah, and as Jacob said, it's a credit to Nicky and Barry for how they've prepared this horse in the lead up to a 3,200 metre handicap race. It's a fine art to get your horse in and peaking at the right time. First 3 runs back were good. He may have just lacked that little bit of urgency at the back end of his races, but he came off a fairly genuine clip. D&G rolled forward at the start, which was a bit of a surprise for mine. I thought that they might have opted for tactics to ride her back, and I don't think she finished the race off as well as what she did in a couple of starts prior. So that was a surprise. I'd be interested to see how they're going to ride the former New Zealand Cup winner in the feature next Saturday. But I think he enjoyed the genuine clip up front, Mr. Intelligence. It's brought him into $7. Creditable effort from Lincoln King. He never really got too much room up the straight, and he went to the line under a fair bit of a grip from Danielle Johnson. 3,200 metres, would love to see him draw a nice gate, put him to sleep on the rail. He can most certainly win. Bodes well with a view to next Saturday was good. Southern Ocean was okay, I thought. He'd probably want to show a little bit more. We've seen him ease in the market out to $8. But yeah, creditable runs from both Lincoln King and Mr. Intelligence. Penalty free for him heading through to Saturday as well, Emily. So yeah, good on Nicky and Barry Blatch. They picked up a double on the card after winning the first with Leroy. Yeah, so good on them. Great to see the Southerners getting a taste of Cup Week at Christchurch.
Yeah, exactly right. And just a $4,750 purchase from Gavel House. So a very shrewd investment there, bred by Gordon Cunningham. Well, let's have a look at what the beaten jockeys had to say for the Metropolitan Trophy.
Terrific cup trial. He's going to go into the cup, 4th up. Nice little run today. Hit the line hard, and he took an age to pull up. He's the last horse to pull up by a mile. And I hear a bit of a whisper there might be a bit of rain later in the week, and it's only going to enhance his chances. But very excited to be riding him.
Went super, just a bit far back, but she made the run home really good.
He's gone really well. Like, I didn't expect him to run that quick from home, but he's battled on well. Yeah, he ran a great race considering he pulled quite hard, but it should leave him right for Saturday.
Yeah, a little bit disappointing out of the barriers, just came out a little bit awkwardly and got squeezed from both sides, so ended up getting a bit far back than I anticipated, and especially on such a strong speed. So they went really quick, and then we tracked into it really nice across the top, and then just got held up for a couple of runs. And he's gone to the line sort of, yeah, I've just sort of pushed him along. He hasn't... He went a nice, honest race going forward to the Cup, and I'm still quite happy with him. It's just, we lost it at the start, and then, like I said, he was held up for about 4 or 5 strides across the top. So if that hadn't happened, he still would have been hitting the line really well.
We look forward to the New Zealand Cup in the coming week. Well, let's have a little look at the sprinters, because the Pegasus Stakes was a dash to the line, and a very short-priced favourite took out the race in the form of Babylon Berlin.
The railer, half a length out, Gilly, Madam Hass wider out, then came Live Drama. It's Babylon Berlin with a length and a half to spare. Now 2 lengths Live Drama and Madam Hass. Babylon Berlin, 200 to go. 2 lengths clear, Madam Hass and Live Drama at the 100 metres. Babylon Berlin, 3 lengths in front of Live Drama. She's a sprinting powerhouse, and she's won the Pegasus. Babylon Berlin by 2.5.
Wow, she's quick.
Yeah, she is pretty quick. She was sort of like a little bit of a spring in the gates, and she sort of didn't know which leg to put down first when she came out, and a little bit awkward, but then once she got into a rhythm, she was just too fast. And yeah, it sort of gave me feels of Cooper Lion back from, a few years ago, but she's very fast.
Lisa, what's that like? What's that like flying over 1,000 metres in 55 seconds? It must be exhilarating.
I don't know about that, when you miss away a little bit and things, so that you're in plan B already, and I guess it's nice, but you're just sort of waiting for that winning post to come up, and especially when you're in front, you sort of have a little sneak look and then just try and keep the momentum going.
Mission accomplished today. I understand not going to the stewards because the track is firming up quite a bit out there, and it's probably not ideal for her.
No, she's got a lot ahead of her. It's only her first run into a campaign. The trial was a wee while ago now, so she was very fresh coming into today. So she may take a bit out of it. She'll take a bit out of the run, and then I think she's heading home.
She was always a classy type, wasn't she? Already a Group 1 winner prior to the Pegasus Stakes, and a well-timed plan that came off for the Ben Foot team. Matt, as we come to you, a lovely performance by the horse, justifying those very short-priced odds. Interesting, I was reading that not going to head to the stewards, heading home, and then I think to the Counties Bowl in Pukekohe. So we don't get the opportunity to see Babylon Berlin again, but I guess that opens things up for the other sprinters.
Yeah, I seem to get all the good horses taken off me. I've had a good run of a tissue through the autumn. No Verre, probably won't see him again in Canterbury, and Babylon Berlin very much the same. So fast, and a credit to Ben Foot as well. When she paraded, she was rock hard fit. A little bit awkward out of the stalls, but it really didn't matter in the end. She's a quality sprinter. I think she's one of the best sprinters in New Zealand, and if he can manage her through her campaign, then I look forward to what she can produce. Good group of owners as well, and nice to see Lisa Allpress get a feature win at Cup Week. Live Drama was very, very good in second, considering that this horse was giving away 3.5 kilos to Babylon Berlin. I think that she's a horse that could perform at group level, Live Drama. Under handicap conditions makes it hard for her in the south, because she does generally get the top weight. She's $11 to win the stewards, Live Drama. If she gets a posse up, I wouldn't be shy to say that she can play a part. She's a good horse, Live Drama. Madam Hass was nice after jumping from a whitish barrier draw to get across and race outside of them, and Kaimar Ward was a creditable effort, third up for him as well. But she was a class above Babylon Berlin. Unlikely to go to the stewards on Wednesday, Emily, but she is still in the field, so we'll keep close tabs on that. But yeah, I think that she'll go right through the grades, Babylon Berlin, from what she did there. It was a firmish track on Saturday at Riccarton, and it did dry out through the afternoon. So there is some query about horses bouncing off it in terms of how quick they did run. They went 56 and change. I think the record's 55 held by Sensei. So yeah, it was really fastly run. And congratulations to Ben Foot and the entire ownership group. She looks a quality horse going forward, and yeah, she's got the record to boot.
Yes, she has, and I think they're aiming for the railway as the big goal, so looking forward to seeing her stepping up in grade. Now, Matt, I know there was one more race that you requested that we have a little chat over with regards to Riccarton. That was race 11. Colossal was successful in this one for the Parsons team. Rating 65 over 1,600 metres, and a nice effort because 2 from 2 now this campaign.
Yeah, not often you'd want to highlight a rating 65 race, but he was going to battle in to win at the 150, this horse. Then just watch him extend. He is a mammoth to look at, hence the name Colossal, and he showed a good turn of foot inside the last 100. He's been a real find in the south, came first up and paid 30 to 1 to win. He fell in to win that to beat Sacred Giant. He ran away from Sacred Giant to win on Saturday. Good day for John and Karen Parsons and Ghost and Jagu. They also picked up a win with Let's Bring It On earlier in the program. But if he's doing that to them, Emily, Colossal carrying 59 kilos, no reason why he won't win again next up over the rating 75 grade.
Love it, putting it in the black book. Thanks for that, Matt. Of course, Tarapa was our other domestic meeting on Saturday, and we had the feature race, the Legacy Lodge Sprint, which was taken out by Raposa Rapida. What was a nice effort for the Stephen Marsh team because, of course, they quineled the race with Run to Perfection, finishing in second. And I know, Matt, I think pre-race, Stephen had picked Run to Perfection as being the horse to follow, but as it turned out, Raposa Rapida did the job. He thought it might need one more run, but that definitely wasn't the case.
Yeah, he had it primed, didn't he? It was a good effort from Stephen to get this horse so ready in a fresh stakes. Well placed, nice weight, and the race was run to suit for Raposa Rapida and Run to Perfection. Third horse was good, Mask of Pony. Pushed off the track coming off the top, was giving away 7 kilos to 90% of the field, and he's a real credit to himself, Mask of Pony, such a gallant animal. He's only gone down 3/4 of a length at the finish. Race was lost for him coming off the back when he was obliged to race 3 wide, but he'll keep Mask of Pony. It's just another one who, under the handicap conditions, it's always hard for him carrying the 60 kilos, but I thought he was still one of the runs of the race. But yeah, nice work for Go Racing. They're having a good run of things at the moment, Emily. A lot of nice horses across both sides of the Tasman, and it'll be a real kick for them first up, and well on to Stephen Marsh as well.
Yeah, they are. They're having a great run, the Go Racing team. And of course, Raposa Rapida is actually a full brother to Volpe Veloce. So that family doing a really nice job. The other race to look at on that card from Tarapa was the Waikato Cup prelude. 2 Madison was successful in that. And we can have a little look at the run home for 2 Madison in the open handicap over the 2100 metres, beating Judy Song and Le Sablier. Lance O'Sullivan and Andrew Scott do the training. Came through that Stephanos Classic, Matt. We're finished sort of in that 5th spot, but this was a strong win for Ashvin Goindasamy.
Yeah, and a pitch-perfect ride as well from Ashvin. It all opened up for him, but he elected to stay toward the inside. Assessed it well at the start. There was some good pressure, and the shortest way home is on the rail, and it got through. Was pretty comfortable in the finish. I thought that 2 Madison's run in the Stephanos was still good. She's paid well. Lily Dore, maybe just a little bit disappointing, but the winners come from the inside. She's raced wide and then copped a bit of a bump halfway down the straight, so maybe a forgive job for Lily Dore. But the O'Sullivan Scott team generally have a good stayer around them, Emily, and looks as though they've found themselves another in 2 Madison.
Exactly right. Well, we stick with the domestic racing theme, and we also stick with the Tarapa theme, but we wind the clock back to Melbourne Cup Day on Tuesday, where we had the Group 3 Balmarino, and we can have a look at the replay where Cheval Promoteur was successful in this one. Nice effort for the Catherine Cameron team. Catherine, of course, Matt, she had a winner on Saturday, a promising type winning on Saturday as well, and also success with Cheval Promoteur, who came back from Group 1 racing to take out this Group 3.
Yeah, and they came for it late, didn't they? I think the map had something to say about that with Cheval Promoteur. It actually closed off favourite. Concert Hall's run some blistering sectionals to get as close as what it did, but Concert Hall was cold. Within the last 2 or 3 minutes of betting, they really came for Cheval Promoteur, a horse who races well, up on speed. Concert Hall, you can take a lot of credit out of the run. She can take a lot of credit out of the run. It was very gallant in a race that wasn't really run to suit, so she's another one that we'll keep. But she's been a real honest performer, Cheval Promoteur, and yeah, once again, a pitch-perfect ride.
Yeah, it most definitely was. Well done to Jonathan Riddell. Well, we do have a little bit of news to tidy up for you here on Way, and of course we heard over the weekend that Arc de Triomphe has unfortunately had to be scratched from the 1,000 Guineas, and Matt, that completely changes the way things look. Obviously Arc de Triomphe was a key chance in the race. I guess from the horse welfare perspective, really good that this was discovered before a tough test like the 1,000 Guineas. Just hearing that Arc de Triomphe is going to have chips removed from her knees. Really disappointing though for the Carstens team.
Absolutely gutting for Andrew Carsten, Kylie Williams as well, her jockey, and the entire Go Racing team. But as you say, on the positive side of it, it's lucky that they've been able to find that out and nothing went wrong with her on Saturday. She'll definitely keep Arc de Triomphe. She's done a great job this time in. She's shown an excellent turn of foot. Where does that leave us now? Well, There You Go has been so impressive, Emily. I would have loved to have had a bit of that $31 the bookmakers have opened for her. $3.40, she's shown time-wise that she's got plenty of excellence. She can put herself into the race. 1,600 metres I don't think will worry her. The Tony Pike team going well. Imperatrice is an interesting runner as we add her into the mix. I think that the bookies have got it fairly right. At this stage, I'll be going There You Go, but it all depends on barrier draws, race pattern-wise, who's going to get the best sort of run. And as we saw on Saturday in the 2000 Guineas, Group 1's around Riccarton Park, there's no margin for error. You generally don't get too much room as you turn into the straight. You either have to be on speed, come wide, or hope that you do get a little bit of luck. It's not like the normal races at Riccarton. Normally the field does pan out. You can get a run through. Group 1 racing so much more competitive, as we saw there on Saturday.
Yeah, and that race itself is really open. It's going to be a really good edition of the 1000 Guineas. Also from a news perspective, of course, the Carsons not totally out of Cup week. They also have 3 runners for the Group 3 Canterbury Breeders' Stakes and Hasabro in the Copeland's Mile. Best of luck to them with the unfortunate scratching of Arc de Triomphe. Well, moving on, well, it was good to hear that George Chiddick was being accepted onto the Irish National Stud Scholarship. Awesome news for him. Big congratulations to George, who at 19 years old is one of the youngest recipients of the scholarship. He'll be heading off in January, and we wish him all the best of luck on that new adventure. Well, continuing with our news theme, we also obviously have the sales having been moved as well. Speaking of January, we did have the sales, of course, as normal in their position, the yearling sales in January. That unfortunately has had to be changed due to the uncertainty surrounding the pandemic. So they've postponed the 2022 yearling sales. The new dates, as you can see, Book 1, Sunday the 6th of March to Tuesday the 8th, commencing at 11 a.m. each day, and then Book 2, Wednesday the 9th to Friday the 11th. And all of those updates and information available at nzb.co.nz, and certainly that throws a spanner in the works when it comes to yearling preps, but hopefully from the perspective of getting potential buyers to New Zealand, it can work well with regards to that. We're going to get you off to a break here on Weigh In, but we leave you with a milestone for a South Island jockey in Tina Kominyagi, who rode her 200th winner at Riccarton on Saturday.
500 metres, Astracana, half a length on Koputaroa, Demand Respect looking to ease out under it. Anchor Me now getting into the clear behind horses. Club Card onto the scene as well from Stand With Me and Christopherson. Telling Tales wider out, Astracana the leader by a length on Koputaroa. Anchor Me now starting to wind up down the middle from Demand Respect. Noble Knight from the back. Astracana, Koputaroa. Anchor Me a length off the leader. Astracana, Anchor Me's charging the outside as they come to the post. Anchor Me beats home Astracana, Koputaroa.
Well, that's nice to get a 200 win milestone.
Yeah, definitely it is. It's been a long road, but I got there. Yeah, it was great.
Riding a horse, Anchor Me, who'd been so consistent, bit like you getting to 200, he deserved that.
Yeah, he really deserved that, and I was hoping it was my chance of the day to get the 200. He's been knocking on the door a lot, and he's been getting bad draws, so drew one today, so with a bit of luck I was getting the run, and I did, so it was great.
All right, you're marching on your way to the next 200 because you called it, makes it 201.
Yeah, he went really good. He just got the run of the race really, and he just performed perfectly well, so it was great.
Tina, earlier on in your career, you had your injury woes, and at times I suppose it was really tough to even consider getting back to riding. Your body seems in great nick these days, and you're really enjoying it.
Yeah, it's been really good. Obviously I had a lot of injuries on the way with long breaks, so it's been a rocky road, but I finally got my body sorted for the last 3 seasons, so it's been good. I had a minor setback this year, but it's all good and going well, so it's great.
All right, it's a great way to start the carnival. Congratulations.
It is. Thank you very much.
Today's weigh-in is brought to you by our stable of sponsors. Welcome back with us on Weigh In. It's a pleasure to have your company, and we head across the ditch now. Of course, Melbourne Cup was Tuesday's highlight. First Tuesday in November most certainly did not disappoint, as it was a Kiwi owned, trained, ridden, bred success. Let's have a look at the final stages of the Melbourne Cup.
Here's Verry Elleegant. She's coming home. 300 to go. The mighty mare moves up to incentivise and races on by. Then floating out of Spanish Mission. But Verry Elleegant at the 150. The darling of the turf has raced clear 3 lengths incentivise. And it's Verry Elleegant. 10 good runs. And now the greatest of them all, the Melbourne Cup. Verry Elleegant wins by 3.5 incentivise. Spanish Mission floating artist.
Such an awesome result, and the emotion afterwards from James McDonald. You could see it was a childhood dream come true, and what a amazing mare Verry Elleegant is. A 10th for Group 1, a Caulfield Cup winner, a Melbourne Cup winner, just a wonderful, wonderful mare. Well, somebody who's very close to Verry Elleegant is Don Goodwin, her breeder, who of course hatched the plan many years ago to put his mare Opulence to Z, and the result was of course Verry Elleegant. Don, it's an absolute pleasure to be with you here today. Melbourne Cup winning owner and breeder, that has a wonderful ring to it.
It sure does. Yeah, I still can't believe it.
Really?
But it has happened and we're going to take it.
Talk me through the emotions watching the race. First of all, the barrier. That was a niggle, wasn't it?
I was worried about the barrier and the statistics of it, because no horse had ever won from out there. Yeah, she did come in one, but she was still at 18. And being here with only the television in front of the two of us, I just had my eye on that 18 at the barrier. And when she flew the barrier, which was one of her best starts, I think, but usually I don't study the barrier that intensely that I did on Tuesday, but yeah, she jumped, and then James didn't panic and he just brought her across nicely. And my take on the race beforehand was at the bottom turn out of the straight, we had to be about midfield, 2 off the fence and jogging, and that's exactly where she was. And it just got better from there. The
run home was probably pretty relaxing because you knew she had it won from such a long way out. What was the celebrations like here?
I was yelling pretty hard at the end, obviously, but not because of a close result, just because you'd owned and bred the girl that was winning it. It was that good.
What about the aftermath of winning a Melbourne Cup? Has the phone stopped ringing? Have you been able to get some sleep?
It stopped later at night, but for the first 3, 4, 5 hours, it was crazy. I think I had 30-something messages on my phone at one stage, and I was talking on the phone continuously, so much so that I couldn't swallow too much champagne. But yeah, it was really good.
Is this the best moment of your life in racing?
Oh yes, definitely in racing. Oh, you don't get bigger than the Melbourne Cup, not for Kiwis and Aussies.
What about the connection to Chris Waller and James McDonald, because they are fellow Kiwis, and Verry Elleegant is a Kiwi product right to the core. Does that add to the pride?
Oh yes, yep. And I was talking to Chris last night, and he's very proud of that fact. And yes, he's cracked it now. So they both, it was first for everyone, the Melbourne Cup. Chris's first, James's first, my first, probably last. But that's excellent.
People wait a lifetime trying to do what you've just achieved in breeding a Melbourne Cup winner. What for you are the emotions like? Is it relief? Are you proud? Can you put it into words?
Well, obviously I'm very proud of it, but you've got to get a little bit lucky too if you come back. I bought the mare in 2011. She was in foal to Talcay at a mares and weanling sale, and I bought her specifically to breed to Z. I said those bloodlines will work. and it's worked out. But a lot of people do that sort of thing and study it, and it just, for some reason, it doesn't work. And the same, each foal is different. You get two brothers, one can't keep itself warm and the other's pretty good, you know. Well, very seldom do you get a champion and the next one along was a champion. The Kotelli House, she had two champions, and Danewin and Commands. They were full brothers by Danehill. And that Danehill line is coming through with her too, because Dan Road was by Danehill. And Emerald Dream was by Danehill, the mother of Zed. So it all worked out, thank goodness.
If we go back to her racing career that started here in New Zealand, the first run at Tarapa, she was beaten. What was the mindset after that?
Well, it was how good is she? Because she was a 2-year-old race in July, I think, going back, it was a little while ago. And there was only, I think, 7 starters. And some of them had a bit of form as 2-year-olds. It was her first start. She drew one, and well, you've seen how difficult she is to ride. And Rowena actually rang me this morning, Rowena Smythe rode her, and she was in one and got chopped back out the back and running along, and they came around the corner at Tarapa and she flashed into, just went past, I think 10 minutes past the line she'd have won it. But I was in the owner's trainers before, and I was saying to guys, she's paying 33 to 1 this horse. If you don't back her now at that, you'll never ever back her at 33 to 1 again in your life. And
not a true word
I
spoken.
knew she was pretty good even before that race. After that race, I knew she was exceptional.
Yeah.
And then she went to Ruakaka over 1400, 15 wide around the turn on the outside, second to last, and won by about 5 lengths. Yeah. But all the offers started coming in straight after Tarapa. And I think the first one we got was 190, I think. Christ, 190,000? And it just went up and up.
Yeah.
So
they were onto something.
Oh, there's some pretty shrewd horse people in New Zealand.
What do you think makes Verry Elleegant the champion that she is?
Probably, well, she's got very good cruising speed, but her determination and her grit and guts, you know, in the last 100 metres, then we get down to the last 20, 30. She, you know, when she won the George Main this time, and you know, she was 6 lengths back on the inside, got her. And that was a good horse she went past. And so, you know, she's won from 1400 to 3-2 now, or the old term, 6 furlongs to 2 miles.
When she hit the ground and you got the first foal photos of her, could you ever have imagined she would have taken you on this journey?
Oh, no. No. Even in a drunken dream, you wouldn't really think that.
And yet here we are.
Here we are. Yeah, happy as hell.
A big thank you to Don Goodwin for his time and his passion, just so clear and evident to see when it comes to Verry Elleegant, and of course his breeding interests all round. Matt, as we welcome you back in, what was the Melbourne Cup like for you? Because I just thought it was a really special year to see Verry Elleegant not just win but dominate, a true New Zealand product, flying the flag so high across the ditch. The connection with James McDonald, of course, New Zealander, Chris Waller, a New Zealander, really had a good feel for me. What about for you?
Yeah, absolutely, Emily. I guess as a New Zealander, you sit there and you watch the Melbourne Cup and you're always keeping an eye out for the Kiwi horses. And immediately as the race settled, it was clear that Verry Elleegant was in such a potent spot. And then at the top of the straight, I think it's one of those cups where It was all over so far out from home. You really got to embrace it the entire way up the straight. It wasn't one of those thrilling close finishes. It was just a moment to sit back and enjoy what New Zealand racing can do on a world stage. Kiwi-bred horse, Kiwi-bred jockey, Kiwi-bred trainer in Australia's biggest staying race. How much better does it get? And I think it gives hope as well to people who want to breed a horse or buy a horse without seeing it race. They can come from anywhere. Zed at the time, Verry Elleegant, was sort of 2 or 3, probably wasn't one of the most sought after stallions within the New Zealand breeding roster. But now I'm sure that there'll be plenty of people even this breeding season who will be thinking, I'm going to have a go. So you just don't know where they're going to come from, Emily. And as I say, I think it just gives us all that little bit of hope that one day we might be able to A, breed our own champion, or B, be in the ownership of a champion, as is the case for so many good New Zealanders and Australians who have been able to jump on for the ride of the Wondermere.
Yeah, exactly right. And looking forward to seeing what she can do during that next campaign. But a Melbourne Cup on the resume certainly looks pretty good. We're going to get you off to a break here on Weigh In, and then we come back and continue with our Cup Week review. Plenty to look at, especially from a Kiwi angle. Today's Weigh-In is brought to you by our stable of sponsors. Welcome back into Weigh-In, and still plenty to review. Of course, the final day from Melbourne Cup week didn't fail to disappoint. We saw sprinting star Nature Strip out in full force and dominating up the Flemington Straight. Here's a little look at a replay of him in the Group 1 Dali Sprint Classic.
September run, and they dash clear from Bella Nipotina. Here's the moment. Nature Strip now given his head at the 200 metres, and he blasts away. 3 lengths September run. Bella Nipotina swats that, and it's all Nature Strip who explodes away. He's going to do it again. Conquers another mountain. His second Dali Classic, one at 2.5. Swats that. Photo third. Bella Nipotina or September run, and then Ranch and Shaquiro.
Well, from the perspective of Nature Strip, it was pretty much nothing more than an exercise gallop. James squeezed him up, and he just lengthened and stretched out to take out the Group 1 very, very easily. Matt, there's never a good time to start talking about it, but the juggernaut of Chris Waller and James McDonald during Cup Week was so evident. James, of course, getting the record for the most wins during Cup Week, a Melbourne Cup, the Group 1s on Saturday, the 2 Group 1s. Just unbelievable achievements during the week for our Kiwi counterparts.
Yeah, and we'll see a big moment shortly post the win of Zaki, with Brett Preble and James McDonald having a moment post the line. But it's one of those things within racing, Emily, and I think it goes for life in general. When things are going good, they're going good. Maintaining that's the key, though. They're at such a unique level, Chris Waller and James McDonald, and it takes a lot of management, not only from themselves, but their entire teams around them. James's partner, Caitlin, and Chris with his family. Obviously, there's a lot of support that goes on and behind the scenes, and the entire team and behind all of those horses to get them to where they are. Chris and James are the face of a massive operation that are doing great things over there, and Nature Strip's been a marvel. Congratulations as well to our very own Steve Hansen, sharing in the ownership of him. Difficult to maintain sprinters at such a high level. There's a lot of pressure goes on their legs racing at such high speeds, and he's been a great sprinter for a long, long time now, Emily, and James and him get on like a house on fire, don't they? And he awarded punters with a short price, as did Zaki there on Saturday.
Yeah, and speaking of Zaki, we can have a little look at the McKinnon Stakes, Matt, and it was a dominant performance by Zaki as well. Unfortunately, obviously scratched from the Cops plate, and this was the sort of backup plan, and it was a backup plan that most definitely came off.
But now Zaki lets rip, and at the 250, he's 4 in front of Cascadian, then Moruga and Heinzman. Zaki the leader at the 100 metres. He's well clear. He's 2.5 Cascadian. Zaki holding on. Zaki by the McKinnon, won by a length Cascadian. Third Moruga, and they were followed by KO Nautique and next Private Eye Superstorm, Hungry Heart.
Just just allowed to bowl along out in front and exactly the pattern that he enjoys, and at Flemington seemed to really enjoy the track there and took out the McKinnon in great fashion. And here's this special moment that we heard about from Matt, of course, between Brett Prebble and James McDonald. There was an embrace and congratulations as James exceeded Brett's Cup Week record. And of course, if you cast your mind back, there was also that wonderful photo of James as a young boy and Brett as an established jockey. And Brett's certainly some that James looked up to. And here it is. Awesome moment here between these two, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. And Brett's very much a credit to himself as well. He spent a long time over in Hong Kong, came back to Victoria. Things probably didn't kick off like he thought they would, but over the last 6 or 12 months, he's really relished Brett. And yeah, that's a really special moment between the two. And of course, James, how many years younger than Brett would he have been there? He's at the top of his game now, isn't he? And yeah, Brett's certainly a punter confidence jockey, I think, very much like your Damien Olivers. Nash Rawiller over there in Australia as well. And I want to pay a mention as well to Matt Hill. I think from a racecaller's perspective, Emily, it's an absolute credit that he's able to maintain such a high standard right through the week. He's got good races galore. There's an expectation on him to be able to come out with some special sayings along the week. So to maintain that at such a high level is a real credit, and I'm just in awe of his work.
Yeah, it really is. And you'd be just coming into a similar week yourself, Matt, of course, with all action across a number of different codes to contend with. So, yeah, full credit to you as well. Let's have a look at a Kiwi success, which was in the Matriarch Stakes coming in from Flemington. And this was a victory in the Trelawney stud colours for Zaydani.
The track from Prelude as they queue up. Vandergirl and Bonvicini over on the far side. Our Intrigue is getting through. Zaydani up on the fence. Godeline and Starrell down the outside from Nimmerley. Plenty of hopes here as they reach the 200. It's Our Intrigue with Zaydani, Bonvicini, then Vandergirl and Starrell late. Our Intrigue and Zaydani. Our Intrigue and Zaydani. Stride for stride. Zaydani just in front and she won. Zaydani from Our Intrigue. Starrell third, I'd say, from Bonvicini, Nimmerley and Vandergirl. It was a terrific race.
Of course, there was a little bit of chat around the inside being off, but Zaydani proved that that was absolutely not the case and got up to victory in the Trelawney stud colours. Trelawney just enjoying a wonderful, wonderful time. And special mention to Ben and JD Hayes and to Zaydani, actually, because, Matt, the first winner and first stakes winner at Eagle Farm was Zaydani as their new partnership, Ben and JD Hayes. And now Zaydani provides them with a first Cup Week win in partnership. So really special horse Zaydani's becoming for them, and also of course with the pedigree on her side, a half sister to Grunt Zaydani is, and the Dam Require of course a sister to Ocean Park. So a very valuable success there on the resume for Zaydani.
Yeah, and what a feeling as well for the Taylors, I'm sure, tuned in on trackside, and they would have been up and about at the 100 thinking that they were a big show, and nothing would beat the thrill of winning a race at the biggest stage over there in Flemington. So congratulations to them, and just a true testament to the New Zealand breeds, the ownership that we're able to perform over there as well. And great to see Luke Nolan get one home. You're right, probably looking at it from a punting perspective there on Saturday, Emily, many would have been thinking the inside's probably not the place to be, but we did see a few winners come from there eventually. So credit to the team at Flemington for the way that they presented that track. It copped plenty of racing over the 7-day period, and yeah, good to see the Kiwis get another.
And just before we move along to the Oaks on Thursday, a special mention as well to Age of Chivalry, who of course was successful on Saturday, and actually a race that produced a Kiwi trifecta, Age of Chivalry, Just a Canter, and also there was Crosshaven in the mix there as well in the top 3. So wonderful result by Age of Chivalry, taking the Group 3 out, so the progeny of He's Remarkable. So congratulations to the connections of him. Well, let's get back to Group 1 racing, and the Oaks on Thursday was taken out by Willowy. What was a special win for Damien Oliver.
Willowy presents, then Elusive Express getting into the clear with Daisy's Glint of Hope runs up behind them, then Biscay Bay. Douceur still kicks at the 250. Willowy grinding her down. Douceur about a length in front of Willowy. Then came a wall off them, but Douceur 100 to go. Willowy's 3/4. Douceur a half. Willowy's going to have a go. Douceur. Willowy dives. He's done it on him. He's 7th Oaks. Willowy wins from Douceur
second, Photo third, Biscayne Bay, Elusive Express, then Daisy.
Goodness me, right down to the wire, and Willowy just managed to get up over the top. And as I was saying, Matt, special for Damien Oliver, because that was the other story during Cup Week, wasn't it? For him to have the most Group 1 wins of all time. And what an amazing jockey he's been throughout his career.
Yeah, popular jockey as well, Emily. If you ask any young person, well, probably from our era, who was, you know, one of our favourite jockeys when we were growing up, it was all about Damien Oliver. He used to win everything, didn't he? Remarkable at this time of year for trainers to be able to set horses for these distances, particularly the 3-year-olds and your Derbies and the Oaks. It takes an exceptional horse to win at this stage of their preparation. She looks a talent on the rise. The staying trip's always a bit of a question, and it takes a real willing horse to get there in the end as well. So great to see, and yeah, that clearly meant a lot to the man they know as Ollie.
Yeah, it most certainly did, and the Godolphin blue colours carried to victory there in the Kennedy Oaks. Well, as we move along, there was one horse that was the talk of the town during Cup Week, and we can't talk about Melbourne Cup Week without mentioning this potential star on the rise in Espiona, and we can have a little look at this dominating performance, 2 from 2 now for this one.
Burning power now, Espiona brought to the outside, and she's charging home at the 250. New York Baby left vulnerable, grabbed by Espiona. McDonald has barely flinched here. Looks at the big screen. This is going to be a huge win. Espiona 4 lengths, 5 lengths, 6 lengths. Well, that's how you like to see favourites win. Espiona, she might be something else. Star of Chaos got second from Star Waltz, and then came in 4th place.
Well, Espiona's win had to be seen to be believed, Matt. It was one of the most impressive performances of the week. Now 2 from 2, taking their time with this horse, and it's certainly playing dividends, and it was an awesome win, wasn't it?
Absolutely, Emily. I think that if you're a racing fan and you sit there and you see a horse win like that, you put it straight into the race tracker. You want to know where that horse is going next, and likely that you probably won't get the $1.30 next time she heads around. So dominant on a soft 5, and her sectional suggests that she's got a real future, this horse. You probably don't want to be comparing her at this stage to the greats that we have seen. She's only won 2 out of 2, but the way that she done it, it's exciting. Gives us something to look forward to, Emily, and I'm sure she'll have plenty of eyes on her next up.
There's a Kiwi connection there as well, Matt, because her dam, Dahul, hopefully I've pronounced that correctly, is by O'Reilly and is the progeny of Waikato's stud, and was a $340,000 purchase by Chris Waller Racing back in 2015. So we'll claim that as a part Kiwi success. Well, Matt, before we let you go to wrap up the show, it is going to be an enormous week for you, obviously, with racing coming up on the Galloping Code at least on Wednesday and Saturday. Interested to get your thoughts around a horse to follow for those last 2 days before we wrap up the show.
Well, I've got one for you at $13, Emily, on tab.co.nz. That heads around the Valachi Downs Canterbury Breeders' Stakes at Group 3 on Wednesday. I think that the bookmakers are throwing you a little bit of bait around the horse-drawn barrier number 1, La Power. If you look through her record last campaign, she ran close up in behind a Tissue through most of her stakes races. She's had 2 runs back, draws barrier 1. I think if she's able to posse up La Power, there she is runner number 11 in the book, then her $13 is decent shopping. Montesquito's come up as the favourite, hasn't won for quite some time. Beneficial, stablemate of La Power, gets in well at the weights, Beneficial, but she does have a wide gate. I would just be swaying punters towards La Power, the 11, at the price of $13. I think she's much, much better than what the bookies are giving you. And then I'm looking forward to seeing There You Go heading around in the 1,000 guineas on Saturday. Should be a good week, Emily. Thanks for having me on the show. Michael back next week. I hope you all enjoy the coverage out of Cup Week.
Awesome stuff. Thanks for your time, Matt. Great to be working with you again, and I love your $13 winner. We'll be keeping an eye out for that. That's it from us here on Weigh In. It's been awesome to have your company once again, and we'll be back next week to do it all again.